Hi, welcome to session 2. It's all about the lower leg and finding access to your big toe, which gives you the push off or toe off, as some may call it, in running. We're going to start in 4-point kneeling. So Mark's going to come down onto 4-point kneeling, facing head that way. And we're going to warm up the spine with a lovely cat to start off with. Not so fast, come back. I'm going to set you up. He's too eager, you see. So core is engaged. You've got your back of your pelvis, the back of the shoulders, and the back of your head in alignment. And what I'm going to get Mark to do is to lift his chest, his front ribs up a bit more. And you can see, not too much, that you are in a flex position. Can you bring your head up a bit more? Bring it up more, more, and then tuck your chin in a bit. Yeah, oh, that's hard. So what I'm trying to do is to get that slope, back of the head, back of the shoulders, and back of the pelvis, elongating the spine as best as you can from your head to your tail. Knees are underneath you, hands are underneath you. Think more gorilla. You want to have good support rather than a narrower support of your hands under your shoulders. Good. Now you can go. Tip the pubic bone towards your heart. As you tip the pubic bone towards your heart, you're opening up the lower back, tensioning the back, and this is a back strengthener. Tensioning the back in this way is superb. Inhale there for me. Exhaling as you lengthen through to the spine now and find your positioning again. Well done. Excellent. And one more, curling. The pubic bone leads the way, so come back. I'm going to get you to open up your back more. Well done. Can you tip your pubic bone more? Yes, go on, tip it. Tip it more, tip it more. Well done. Now do you feel the stretch coming into your back? So try that as well. Try the pubic bone. If you're unsure where the pubic bone is, it is the bony protrusion in the middle of your legs by the top of the bottom of the pelvis. Go and tip more. Yes, Mark, well done. And then bring your head down. And this is a section of runners that gets tight, the lumbar spine. It is constantly working in a side flexion every time you're running. Good. And then come back, lengthening. Excellent. Now, Mark is going to send his right leg behind him. So find the balance on your rest of your two hands and then the other knee. Send the right leg in front of you. So out to the side. Yeah, there we go. Now, this is where I'm seeing that Mark's in the thighs are tight. What I'm going to ask is best as you can. Now, can you allow your foot to roll onto the outer border there? Now, this is where a muscle that runs all the way up here is now stretching, Mark. Yeah, quite tight. And that muscle can sometimes cause an instability in your foot. So we want to find more length through that muscle there to help find better balance of your foot. So hold that. Don't overly worry too much about your pelvis if you're not balanced in your pelvis. So what you can do is to take your left knee now out to the side towards me now, Mark, and you can do the same at home. Good. We're going to do some shift backs now. Core is engaged. Mark's going to shift the body back. As you shift the body back, you're unloading the pressure on your hands, and you're going to sense your sit bone, it's the bony protrusion of your butt, lifting up towards the ceiling. Yeah. Now Mark's going, thanks Anaya for that. You have just increased the tension going on in my hamstrings and my glutes, and I'm sure you're feeling that as well at home. And then shift forwards again. Well done, Mark. Shift back and shift forward. So find a sense of rhythm, a sense of tensioning, and a sense of softening through the front of your hip into the crease. That's better. Do you see how your range has increased? So as you soften into that crease, you can increase the range of that, and you're getting quite a big stretch into your right leg at the moment. Good. Well done. And then come back. Can you bring that leg back from underneath you, please? Well done, and have a rest there. Good. Just sit back for me towards your heels and just let your head rest down. So you're just going into rest position and just sensing that right side compared to the left side. Now you have stretched that side out. Good. And then come back up. Now what we're going to do, Mark is going to take himself, so I'll come here so you can see me one. Take your arms behind you. Take your left leg forwards and keep your right knee down. That's it. We're now going to tension through the front of the thigh. And the reason we're doing this is because it's all connected through your lower leg and it will affect your stability of what's going on up here. So now what we're going to do is to find that pubic bone. It's the bony protrusion at the tip of the pelvis. And you're going to use your abdominals as the lower part of your six pack basically working. You're going to tuck your pubic bone up towards you. As you curl the pubic bone towards you, you're like rolling the pelvis back. Can you feel how that increases the front of the thigh? Good. And then you're going to release it if it's going to feel like you're sticking your bum out. Good, that's it. And then you're going to curl, tucking that pubic bone up. So abs are working really hard. You're getting this tensioning stretch coming all the way along that front of that thigh. And then it just feels like you're releasing and you're sticking your bum out. Yeah. Good. And again, curl, use your abs, go on. The bottom kind of glides over the heel and it lifts up a little bit. And then release. Good. Yeah, go on then, do another one. And this is an excellent stretch. You can easily do this watching telly. Yeah? You don't need to kind of have specific time that you dedicate to this. Grab the video, watch it in front of the telly, and that's absolutely fine. Good. Now what we're going to do is the other side. So Mark's going to do a little swivel for me so you can see. So keeping your right leg down, your left foot now comes halfway. So can you pivot a bit more? So pivot towards that right side a bit more. Sorry. There we go. There we go. That's better. And now Mark's going to bring back his left foot a bit more for me. So go forward a bit more. Go forward a bit more. Yeah. Now here, what we want to see is where the heel is. I would like you to really allow your whole of your body to feel like it's draping over the thigh of the left. And you're going to send a feeling of weight down through your heel and let your head feel really relaxed as well. And then what you're going to do is to send that heel down to the floor. Can you feel the calf stretch happening? And if you are struggling to feel the calf stretch, adjust your foot. It might need to go further back where we're in this crouched position. Your upper body's really relaxed and you're sending your weight down through your left thigh. So for you, Mark, I would let your body go really floppy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can you feel the difference in that stretch coming into your calf now? Yeah. And experiment yourselves at home, whether you want to take your left foot forwards, it's a better stretch, or you take your foot back. Well, the main aim is not to have the heel down on the floor because that will take away what we're trying to do. So you're trying to find that weight of gravity coming down through the heel. Well done. And then from there, you rest. Good. So from here, rest down, and now we're going to do the other side. So Mark, stay as you are. So pop your hands at 4-point kneeling. Yeah. And then we're now going to have the left side. So seamless choreography there. So you feel that elongation of the spine. Cores engage. And we're going to take your left leg out now to the side. Well done. And you're going to roll onto the outer border. And I can already see Mark's flexibility is way better on this side, but funnily enough, it's his left hamstring which is giving him more niggle. So that is a thing for me. I'm thinking maybe we need to work much more onto the inner aspect of his hamstrings to give better stability and less pain. So from here now, let's shift back and come forwards. Good. Also, just to recap, you're rolling your foot onto the outer border of the foot and lifting up through that inner arch to get an even more stretch. How does it feel down this side of you?
Yeah,
is it
tight.
Stretchier than the right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in your hips, it's a lot looser. And in that hamstring, good, well done. Excellent, back and forth, very nice. Let's do 2 more and just let your breath flow with this. Have your abdominal, your pelvic floor engagement. So back passage, front passage connecting. Feels like the lift doors at the front are closing in towards the belly button. Well done, Mark. Bring your left leg back underneath you and just go into rest again. Curl your tailbone in and just rest down and feel a sense of softening now through the hips. Very nice. Good, coming up now. Let's take your right foot, your right foot forwards. I was correct the first time around, and we're laying back. So you're back into that stretch like this. Good. So you're leaning back, fingertips are either facing out or facing forwards, whatever's best for your shoulder alignment. Core is engaged. Let's curl that pubic bone towards your heart, and as you do so, you're enabling a tensioning all the way down through the front of the hip, and then you're just releasing. And again, curling that pubic bone up. And you're going to get discrepancies between your left and your right. We're one-sided creatures. And in running, you're trying to find balance in your body. So even if you have these pockets at the side of your thighs and you put your phone in there, that is going to cause an imbalance in your body. So you're trying to constantly balance the body out so that tension is flowing as evenly as we possibly can, or your body is adapting to that. It's when your body doesn't adapt, that's when we get injuries. Good, and release and really curl. So it might feel a bit more natural to curl on this side. It might feel a little bit more sticky. Good, and curl, lifting up. Well done. Let's do one more. Because I can feel more all the way down here is super tight. And then release, and now we're going to do the calf stretch. So Mark, if you don't mind swiveling that way. And then, so you're facing more that way so we can see you. That's it. And then now he's going to really put that weighted stretch down into his calf. So that foot is coming back maybe halfway down the sides of your other leg. And then you're trying to allow that heel to drop and let your head go really floppy. Let your weight. There. It's quite a deep stretch, isn't it? And the more you almost relax and yield to it, the better it is, the more fluid it might feel, even though Mark's probably like going, no, I don't feel fluid at the moment. Good. And so just breathe. Anytime you're in these kind of long stretches, see if you can yield, see if you can breathe, see if you can kind of just let go. Feel a bit putty-like. Well done, Mark. And then rest from there, Mark. Good. Now we're going to come up now into high kneeling. So Mark, if you come up on your knees, good, and stay, and then I'm going to get you to release your toes. Good, and then come all the way up. That's it. Now we're going to do a sit back and curl just to rebalance the spine, and this is really great anyway for the front of your thighs. So place your hands on your pelvis just to give you some feedback, the fingertips on the pubic bone, the heels of the hands on your hip bones. So your bottom is going to go back. So you're going to sit back, spine is elongated, head's going forwards, bottom's coming back. Abdominals strongly engaged now. Do you remember that tuck and the curl that we did? Now that that's exactly what you're doing. So can you tuck? 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 And then up you come. Well done. Let's do a couple more. So sit back. Excellent. And curl. Eyes down to your pelvis. Good. And then eyes up. Good. One more. So there. Let your eyes meet your pubic bone as you curl. Curl. Tuck, tuck, tuck. So head in, eyes in. Yes. Yeah. And then is up. Let's do another one. Mark's now going, got it. So you might be thinking you've got it too. Brilliant. And rest after this one. Tuck and curl. Up, 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 up. Well done. Now we're going to face forward. So Mark's going sitting down because it's tough. It's really tough on your quads. And if you're feeling that, you can make your range of movement a little bit smaller as well. So we're going to start accessing now some more multi-dimensional movement through the leg. And we're going to do an exercise called zigzag. So Mark's going to bring his right leg forwards. Good. And then what we're going to do, and you're going to do, if you want to pad out your other knee, if it feels a bit achy, you can pad it out with a cushion or a towel. That's absolutely fine. So you're trying to think about your foot to knee to hip in alignment. Don't worry about where your pelvis is sat. It all depends on the length of your shin bone of this side and the thigh bone of that side to enable. So bringing that right leg forwards, tummy muscles engage. We're going to go forward. So as you go forwards, the spine is going with you. Your knee can travel over your toes. It's absolutely fine. We're going to press yourself back up. Good. So you're going to go forward. So Mark, you keep going forwards, and I'm just going to demonstrate what it looks on this side. So I'm up here and I'm going to go forwards and I'm coming back. I'm going to go forwards and I'm coming back. And you're trying to find that, it's kind of a little bit of a spring. That's it. So don't hang around in that end point. You're going to push with your foot to come back up. Excellent. Now you've got a rhythm. Now we can add on. We're going to start taking your leg out to the right. So you're going to zigzag the leg. So walk from your heel, the toes out. Go into a double bounce. That's it. From your toes, walk your heel inwards. So you're rotating inwards. Good. Double bounce into that direction. Turn the foot out. Excellent. Double bounce. So now you're coming into adductor territory, but you're also working into your Achilles tendon. Turn in. Double bounce. Now, you may be feeling you cannot take your leg out any wider and you don't have the degree of mobility you have in your hips like we do. That's okay. Find now where it feels best. So for me, my foot's slightly in front of me, not out to the side, completely at 90 degrees, because what that would do is to turn my spine into a back bend. And I don't want that. I want to keep my spine elongated. So sense where your spine is in space. Now, hold your upright position. We're going to go down into a hip release. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Yeah. Tummy muscles engaged, pubic bone lifted up. This is where I don't want you to be for too long. We're just going to allow yourself to come up. And what we're going to do is to go into this. It's that springiness. Now, this first two sessions, the first session was all about foot mobility and awakening. And now this is about that foot mobility and accessing the big toe. What has the big toe got to do with running? The big toe is your spring tensioning through your plantar fascia, which makes you go into that push-off phase, so every step that you take. Now, we're going to access that big toe. Tummy muscles engaged, pubic bone up to your head. You're going to spring, push, and almost levitate. You're balancing on that left knee. So as you push, can you feel how your big toe does the work for you? And you go into a point, and you go into that point. That's better. So Mark's never had ballet toes before, but now he does. So you're going to push and push, couple more. So you're floating. It's like a point of inertia. You're suspended. Good, that's better. Suspended, and find your own rhythm and then rest. How are the ballet toes? Oh. It's quite a workout, isn't it? Your legs. Turn the leg in now. So as Mark turns his leg in, his femurs, his thigh bones are rotated inwards. This is an essential movement in walking, and it's certainly in running as well. So as your legs turned in, your feet go out, and we're going to do that exercise we did before, which is to sit back and curl. Because we were in that open position, we now want to be turned in to counteract. So hands on to the hips, we're going to sit back. So you're going to sit back, and then you're tucking and curling, eyes to the pelvis until the pelvis comes up and forwards, and then you rebalance the spine on top. We sit back. And tuck and roll. Your abs are going to work. Go on, go on, go on. I'm being a bit mean to Mark because I know he needs it. And tuck and roll, tuck and roll. Really hard to do this with your legs turned in. Good. Last one, and we'll finish here. Well done, Mark. We'll do the other side now. So bring your legs back into parallel. Keep your right knee down now. Take your left forwards. Well done. So keep the spine lovely and upright, pubic bone lifting up towards your heart. And this side will be a bit quicker because you know what's coming. So go forwards, take your spine with you. Don't let your chest go forward and back bend and then come back like this. So take your spine with you. Let the body zip up, pubic bone to chest as you go forwards. Good. Try to keep your heel down as you go forward. So let's start walking out. Turn the foot out, double bounce. Turn the foot in, double bounce. We're now synchronized. Good. Keep lifting up through your here a bit more. Better. Do you feel the difference there? That's what I was talking about. It's just try not to let your back bend. So keep going. I've got you in. You go into your rhythm again. Turn the leg in. Good. And turn it out where you find yourself into that position. Now, I'm going to bring your foot a bit more back to you. So now you can feel, you can access that joint a bit better, yeah? So instead of your foot being so far that you feel like you're stuck, I want your foot to come in, and you practice that at home. Are you better with your foot closer, or are you better with the foot further away? Let's go all the way down into the hip release. This is the position I don't particularly want you to be in because it's so compressive, and then come up. But go into not quite end range and spring up. Good. So chest is facing towards us. Pelvis is slightly rotated to your left. Good. Abdominals growing, lifting up. Now spring. Can you push off from your big toe and suspend yourself onto your right thigh? How does your spring feel in your left, Mark, compared to your right?
This is probably a little bit harder.
Yeah, I can see. You can see Mark is trying to access his hip joint. What I want him to do is to spring from his foot. Is his foot connected to his hamstring? Yes, it is. So it certainly is. And this is what I want to bring more knowledge to you as well as a runner, is finding these imbalances and seeing how can we work with this? How can we work fascially with these fascial connections in our body from that big toe joint? Spring, one more, spring, and then rest. Turn the leg in. Both knees are turning inwards. That's it. Find that lift, find your abdominal connection. I want Mark to sit back. Well done, and curl. Pubic bone lifts up. Nice curling. Sit back for me. And hopefully your hips feel a bit more fluid now. We've done that. The hip release exercise. One more. And rolling up. Pause there. Find yourself, come onto the white mat and facing towards that way. And then we're going to bring your hands down into 4-point kneeling. I want you to tuck the toes so that you separate your big toe from your second toe. That's an important gap. Often toes are starting to close a lot more when you get bunions. To open that gap, and I'm going to put my fingers between Mark's toes, if he doesn't mind his feet being touched, and then you get that access. Can you feel the space now? And you do the same. Separate your toes. If you can't do that just by simply doing what we're doing now, get your fingers in there, separate the toes. Now what Mark's going to do is sit back for me. And as you sit back, now all the way, but on your heels, so you're up into that stretch position, and come upright, so your head's up towards the ceiling. There we go. Ooh, yeah. This is quite a big stretch, isn't it? Now, at this point in time, you might be hating me right now because for some of you, this is painful. You might not be able to be in an upright position, but so you might have to go forwards a bit. How is that?
That's all right.
Yeah?
That's all right, yeah.
If you want to come off of it as well, that's okay too. Okay, so let's bring your hands down and then relax the tops of the toes. And then from here, just sit back so you get a bit of a rest. Nice. And then come up. Tuck the toes back under you. Find your hands below your shoulders. Abdominals are engaged, core engaged. Lift your knees off and bring yourself into an inverted V, downward facing dog position. Now in your downward facing dog position, you want to have your knees soft enough, meaning you might need to bend your knees more in order that your pelvis is in a centered position. So Mark, bend your knees, and then you feel like you're sticking your bum up to the ceiling. Yeah. That in itself is brilliant. You can see how much he's shaking. It's because he's accessing his hamstrings. That's the bit that's tight for him. Press through your arms a bit more and widen your hands for me. And I've got him at quite a narrow position. Now we're going to start walking your feet out. So you're going to do some more calf stretching. So can you press down with one heel and lift the other one? Now if this feels too narrow for you, Mark, you can move your hands forwards more. And you can do so as well. Experiment. So everybody is different. And then straighten that leg and stretch and then bend the other one. Good. And straighten and bend. So you're walking out. Good. And you can make it bouncy, you can make it rhythmical. Just try to send your heel down towards the floor as you lift. Now we're going to start rolling over the toes. So do you remember this one, Mark, when we were going to roll over and roll over and roll over? So now we're trying to get the tops of the toes stretching. Good. Well done. Couple more. And then rest from there. Pause there for me. Back up again. You right?
Yep.
So go back to where you were. And then literally just come up. That's fine. Don't worry. That's fine. How are you feeling?
Yeah, that's all right. That's
okay. Quite
lots of stretching.
So We want to do a little bit more work now on that spring of the step, and we're going to go into this exercise. So if you don't mind facing that way for me, and we're going to start off with this. So Mark's going to find his hands on his hips, feet at hip distance apart, abdominals are engaged, spine is elongating up. Find your balance on your right leg as you lift your left leg up, and see if you can balance in that position. Take the toes down of the left foot so it touches the floor, and then you're going to roll through the foot, bringing your heel down, and what he's going to try and do is to spring off his big toe and find those ballerina feet again as he lifts. So he's going to step down and spring, step down and spring, and that foot is landing next to the other one. And then what we're going to try and do is access a bit more length across your hip, which is basically what happens when you're running. So can you take a little step back for me, Mark? And what will happen, as you step back, you tension the front of that left hip. Can you feel that across your abdomen down to, and then you spring. You tension and then you spring. And then you spring. Well done. And spring. So as he's taking a step back, you keep the weight forwards onto that right leg. And can you feel how you're tensioning through the front? And try and get your heel down. So don't take, yeah, that's it. And then spring. This is the bit, as your muscles and fascia tension, and there's a recoil. And it's that recoil which is your free energy. That's what we're looking for here. It's good. Can you go a couple more? So down and spring. One last one. Spring. Pause there. Hold your left leg up. Good for single leg balance. Cross your left leg over the right leg. You can take your hands and let them dangle down, and we're going to do a roll down in this position, which gives you a nice stretch for the side of the legs. So core engaged, down you go. Chin soft to the throat. Shoulders are relaxed as you roll down, and you'll be feeling that stretch now through the side of the leg. Head is really relaxed. Excellent. Use your abdominals and roll back up. Pubic bone comes up. Head relaxed until the very last. Well done. Now we're going to do the other side. So Mark, please, if you don't mind turning to face the other way now. And we're going to find your hands on your hips, find your abdominal connection, balancing now on your left leg as you raise the right leg up. We bring the right foot down, the heel, and then it's that spring. You're rolling through your feet. You're trying to access from the front of the foot down to the heel. And try and see if you can keep that foot in line with the other. So your proprioception of that, where your foot lands now. Good. And then now we're going to try and take a half step back, and that increases that tensioning at the front of the hip, and then you get the recoil. Don't hang around for too long because it becomes more muscular driven. You want to feel that tensioning and then that recoil. Tensioning and recoil. Go. Press down from the top of the toes, balls of the feet. So push through the big toe and push through that big toe. Excellent. And push. And push. Are you feeling as much stretch on this side? As you take the step back. And that's really interesting because it's all coming into play. Like the right leg is not feeling as tense. Yeah. It's a bit stronger. The left leg is where the hip flexors and the lower leg is feeling tighter. Good. And then pause for me. Good balance. Cross the right leg over the left. Tummy muscles engaged. Lift up nice and tall and then roll down. Good. Head really relaxed, tummy muscles engaged, still supporting you, and then rolling back up. Pubic bone comes up. And then rebalancing. And then just uncross the legs now, and then we'll just end with a balancing roll down. So feet hip distance apart, elongate the spine. Think about a pretend height chart that you are going up towards an extra inch or two, and then roll down, lengthening through the back of the neck. Getting that tensional line through the back of the neck, which is lovely, and then melting and folding at the front, supported through the abdominals, shoulders lovely and release. And then hopefully Mark is feeling a bit more easeful in his roll down now, and then rolling back up, tummy muscles engaged. Good. And rest. Well done. Thank you for joining us, and remember to go on to the next session, the third session of the program. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you shortly.